Hi guys, and welcome to TypingPal. This video is going to show you some of the basics of using your TypingPal account. First thing we do is navigate to school.typingpal.com. There's a link to it on the Middle School Tech page. You can click from there or just type in the address into the address bar. Once you're here, click on the login key and make sure that you know your school code. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it. It's STPA. Because I don't want to lose my code, I select Remember Code and then I click Submit. Once you're in, go ahead and enter your username and your password. Your username should be the same username that you use for pretty much everything else at school. Your password is probably capital W welcome and the year. Right now it's 2015 as I'm recording this video, so it's 2015. That password will stay welcome 2015 for the remainder of the school year. Then I'm going to click Login. Once I'm in, I notice that I have this cool little avatar in the corner. To change it and to change my other profile settings, I clicked on Profile. I can change here to go from being a fish to being some little blue robot thing. Not sure what that is. If I needed to change my password, I could here, but really this isn't something that I'm terribly concerned about in terms of security, so I'm not bothering to change it. If you're using a device other than your school PC, say you're using a Chromebook or a Mac, you can use this area under Type to change the type of keyboard that you're using. You can also change your coach. If you get sick of looking at Seb, like I did, you can choose Mel or Emmy and Matt. And then you click Save. If you click on New here, it will walk you through the theory behind successful keyboarding. So they narrow it down to 7 keys. First, you want to make sure that you focus on accuracy. The more accurate you are, the faster you're going to be able to type without having to stop and go back and make corrections. Once you get your accuracy up to about 95% or higher, you'll just get faster and faster as you type. Now keep in mind, the research on typing and keyboarding is that you need to practice at least 15 minutes probably every other day or at least 3 times a week over a longer period of time. The more you type, the more you practice, the more quickly you'll learn to type. But focus on that accuracy first so that the speed can come naturally. Watch your posture. So some basic things. First, you want to make sure that your eyes are aligned with the top of your screen. That's a little bit harder on a laptop than on a desktop machine, but for most of you it shouldn't be a problem. Then make sure that you're really rocking that staircase position. Make sure that your feet, your knees, your backside, everything is in a nice perpendicular 90-degree angle. And if possible, your feet should be flat in the ground. I say if possible because a lot of middle school students can't do that in some of the chairs that we have. So do your best. I recommend making sure that your feet and your legs are stable and that you focus on that staircase position. Make sure that you work on using the correct keys with your fingers, so the correct fingering process, and make sure your fingers come back to that home row as you're typing. And of course, make sure you have proper lighting. If you've been to my office, you know that I don't have glaring lights. If I turned on the light switch that comes with my office, it would be way too bright for me to be able to focus. I like to have my lights set at about 50%, so it's not super bright, it's not dim, I'm not going to strain my eyes, but I'm also not going to have a glare on my screen. And of course, pay attention to what you're typing. So if you have to go from like paper to a computer screen, then focus on those 2 things. Try not to look at the keyboard. Focus on the screen as much as possible. Also make sure that you're tapping gently. If you can hear yourself typing and it's really loud and that banging noise, you're probably damaging the keyboard and you're probably not very comfortable and your hands are going to tire out more quickly. Tap gently, your keyboard will be very grateful for it. And most of all, don't give up. It takes time to get faster at this. I know a lot of you, have to really work at getting your speed up for running the mile. Keyboarding isn't that different. You have to practice, you have to do it regularly to get your speed to where you'd like it to be. So, once we've done that, now we can go back and check on the exercises. The first time you do this in class, you're going to do the initial test. expect that to take 3 to 5 minutes. That gives us a baseline. Don't freak out if you're doing 10 words a minute and you only have 90% accuracy. That just means you've got a little bit more room for improvement. You'll notice it'll track your progress through the different steps that you go through. Each set of keys has some kind of a little assessment at the end. It'll tell you what you need to work on right up here under improvement. And as you go through, you'll go through more and more keys. You'll go through numbers, special characters, then there's a final test at the end. If you want to know what you're working on in different areas, you can go into useful words, and it will have you type useful words. And it's kind of hard for me to focus and talk, which reminds me, while you're typing in class, try to keep the audio down. You don't want to distract other people as they're working. See, I do better when I'm quiet. That'll give you some feedback where your accuracy is, your mistakes, and your speed. 36 words per minute, that was pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go back. And I also have this other option called games. Yes, we're telling you it's okay to play games, but set a goal for yourself that you're going to do at least 2 activities or run through at least 2 drills before you play games. Okay? And of course, make sure your schoolwork is done before you play the games. And under results, you'll see what your overall scores are. As you do this, you'll see a longer and longer list. Feel free to go back and repeat different activities if you think you need more work. But again, focus on accuracy before you worry about speed. If you have any questions, please see me or your tech teacher. Enjoy!